right, and welcome to the GSMC Baseball Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network, the Patreon exclusive content show. So, I thank you guys for joining. So, obviously, we had a lot to talk about on today's show. The full live stream is up right now on the channel, and obviously, I will post the segments, break down the show into 4 individual segments, so those will get posted at some point tomorrow. But yeah, we're having some difficulties with downloading the show immediately after it's posted, and we can't do that for some reason when you first post the video. So, but you're usually able to download it the next day. But, we would like it so we're able to, post it and get it up, that day. But for the time being, the individual segments will be posted tomorrow. And the same thing will go to with Friday's show. Saturday I got a busy day, but I'm definitely going to try to get the show broken down and posted at the earliest convenience. But yesterday's show will be posted. The segments will be broken down, and I'll have those up. So that'll, at least we got that. But yeah, so we did have a lot to talk about on the show today. We went through the latest, headlines and news from, around baseball. Obviously, the main topic for today's show was the robot umpires and, whether or not I think that MLB should implement that. And then also, got into the scores and the current standings and what the playoff race is shaping out to be. And then we went through the power rankings, and I gave my thoughts on that. So, with the recent news and headlines, the big topic, I think, was Max Scherzer getting hurt. And, again, I touched upon this in the show, but the Rangers, they take a lot of risks. They really do, because they've gone out and gotten pitchers that have had injury histories, and they've brought them in, and they've just they've been like 0 for 3, because I did touch upon it. They went in and they got Corey Kluber a few years ago, and he didn't pitch that long. He pitched like an inning, and then he was hurt. Then you go out and you get Jacob deGrom. You sign him to a contract, and it was a 5-year contract, I believe. And now he's out with Tommy John, and who knows how that situation is going to play out. And then you go out and you get Max Scherzer. He gets an upper arm injury, and now he's done for the rest of the season. The rest of the regular season, unlikely to pitch in the postseason, but it's most likely he's not going to pitch in the postseason, which it really stinks. Now, on the positive side, the Rangers have been playing very good baseball as of late. Like I talked about in the show, they've won 5 in a row. But, right now, it's, the pitching is going to be a problem. You have Evaldi, you got Jordan Montgomery. I keep forgetting Jordan Montgomery's on the Rangers, but that was a good trade by them getting him, because he's been okay. Actually, we'll look at his overall numbers, actually, because he has a losing record. He's got a 9-11 overall record on the season, but I still think that was at least a move that had to be made, just because, they losing deGrom was big, and they needed to get, they needed to fill out their rotation. So right now, yeah, Jordan Montgomery pitched 7 strong innings yesterday. He's 9-11 on the season, 3.47 ERA. So these are the splits. So with the Cardinals this year, 6-9, 3.42 ERA. Opponent's batting average is 250. His whip is 1.25. And then you look at his stats with the Rangers. So he's got a 1.15 whip, so that's down. But the batting average is slightly above 250, 254. And the ERA is higher. He's 3-2 with a 3.59 ERA. So he's been okay for the Rangers, I would say. But yeah, like they need guys to. The big thing is they need guys that can step up and get them to the postseason because they have a very good lineup. Evaldi, listen, he was a Cy Young candidate before he got hurt, so I think that's gonna be your number one starter, most likely. I would say, unless I'm missing somebody else. I mean, unless Scherzer has a miraculous comeback and he's able to pitch in the postseason, but yeah, it really is a bummer because the Rangers. I mean, they were they're still exciting. It's just they can't catch a break. And then also I touched upon this too. Is the Aroldis Chapman situation. I mean, the guy, he comes in and he gives up. He's blown some games for them, and it's really. I don't know what's going on now with my camera. I unplugged my charger, and oh wait, I think it's better now. Yeah, it's better now. Yeah, I unplugged my charger because I had my laptop charging during the stream, and then all of a sudden the camera angle the camera got a little funky there. But I don't know. It's always something. Something's always going on in my streams. There's actually no background noise. There wasn't any background noise today, which was very good. There wasn't any yard work being done outside yet. Everything's been good. So today went good, but the way I look at it is because I did a radio show at my college, and the big thing is like if something goes wrong, you got to just play it off, because we've had like microphones fall down while we were broadcasting, things like that. You just got to play it off. And, same thing applies to what happened yesterday, yard work, or, stuff going on in my neighbor's house, and, my dad vacuuming. It's going to happen. You'll eventually hear my dog barking, as I keep saying. And she's actually right by the door right now. Her ear is sticking out from underneath the door. But yeah, so there's a lot going on, but today there hasn't been anything, which has been good, other than what just happened with the camera doing what it just did. I don't know why it did that, but whatever. Everything's fine now. But yeah, so actually another thing, I know I said I was going to do this during the show, but I guess I now that I've been doing the show, I'm not like Immaculate Grid is kind of like I forget about it, and right now I haven't done it, so we could do that right now. So right now, this is the grid right here, and you can't really see it. That was wow, that was really bad. So the first row. So the top left box is the Rays and the Rangers. Then it's Rangers Gold Glove, and then Rangers Hall of Fame. Then it's Rays Orioles, then Orioles Gold Glove, then Orioles Hall of Fame. And then you got Rays Padres. Then you got Padres Gold Glove, and then Padres Hall of Fame. So, will I do it? I could do it. Right now, but yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. Because I do want to save it for when we do, when the off season comes around and there's really like not a lot of stuff to talk about. But that's the Immaculate Grid for today, so make sure to go play that. But that will definitely be a segment because there'll be players that we could talk about, and you talk about what you guys were able to come up with. But yeah, so that I will do at some point today after I get done with this. So, but yeah, so there's that. Also, again, today we talked about the robot umpires, and yeah, it definitely is a topic of definitely is a hot topic in Major League Baseball. You have And the one thing that I said at the end was you're going to impact people's jobs. There's definitely guys that are umpiring now that probably are thinking about retirement. I mean, Joe West, who was an umpire for years, he retired, and he had some controversial stuff with him as an umpire, but not off the field, but just on the field. But you got guys like Angel Hernandez, Laz Diaz, those big guys. Those are the big ones. Topics of discussion when it comes to umpiring games. And yeah, I think baseball, they've made improvements, especially with the rule changes. And this is something that also has to be done as well. I think you got to go and do that. I think the players are frustrated. Umpires are putting their 2 cents into a game where it shouldn't belong. There's games that sometimes their calls dictate a game. I mean, you could look back at games over the years. I mean, one of the strikes that called third strikes, final out of the game that I can think of it was a long time ago. It was like 10 years ago. It was Rangers Rays, and Joe Nathan was pitching, and he struck out Ben Zobrist. I think Ben Zobrist was up at bat, and it was a pitch that was, I forget who was umpiring the game, but it was so low, and it was a called third strike. And I know there are people that are watching this. There are definitely people that know exactly what I'm talking about. This is when Joe Madden was still the manager of the Rays. I mean, I think this was like 2011, 2012, 2013, like around that time. But it was such an egregious called third strike. But again, that's going back like 10 plus years ago. You flash forward to now, it hasn't gotten any better. It's worse. So they got to do something. Now, again, like I talked about on the show, they're experimenting, and, they're going to, eventually it's probably going to happen. But it's going to take some time. So we'll just have to wait. But that's okay. We'll wait. Maybe if they implement it, they can, get rid of one of the newer rules, which is getting rid of the runner at second base in extra innings. Please. Actually, the Yankees were able to benefit from that on Sunday, right? I think Sunday against the Brewers, because they were getting no hit for 10 innings, and then Oswaldo Cabrera hit an RBI double with the ghost runner at second, and they tied the game, and then the Yankees ultimately won. So that was actually an instance where the Yankees did benefit from the ghost runner, but I don't care. That rule I don't like. I understand why it's implemented. I just don't like it. But hey, as long as you get through a game, you get through 9 innings and that's it, then you have nothing to worry about. But yeah, but let me know what you guys think with the robot umpires. Are you for it? Are you against it? I'm for it. I think it needs to happen because there are so many instances where you're just like, that is not a strike. And it's just inconsistent. Like, every umpire has a different strike zone. That's the other thing too. But what are you going to do? And then power rankings, standings, scores. I mean, the power rankings, I really didn't have any problems with it. The top 5, there's definitely teams you can move around. The Dodgers, I could put them over the Orioles. But, the top 5 is right. Those are the top 5 teams right now. I think. Now, which team do I think is least likely to most likely going to make the World Series? I would say the Rays are least likely. Because, look, they made it during the COVID year, and I give them props for that. They are a very good team. But I don't think they have. I think the pitching is going to do what it's done the last couple times in the playoffs where it burns out and, they end up missing the playoffs because of it. I mean, I think they lost 1-0 to the Guardians, the second game. Oscar Gonzalez hit a walk-off home run. And I think the Guardians swept the Rays in the wild card series last year. So they really didn't hit. I don't even remember because it was so long ago. But yeah, I just don't think the Rays are going to get to the World Series. They could prove me wrong. I mean, I've been saying how the Rangers are going to be on the outside looking in, and how I think the Marlins and the Reds are going to could fight for that third wild card spot. And then the Rangers have been playing better, and the Diamondbacks right now are tied with the Reds for that wild card spot. So it seems like when I say something, the opposite happens. So, but yeah, I don't even know what I was talking about. But yeah, like the opposite of what I say happens. But yeah, oh yeah, that's right. So the Rays, I think, are the least likely team. I would put the Orioles slightly ahead of them at 4. And then you got the big 3. Astros, Dodgers, and the Braves. Now the Braves, it's a popular opinion. That team's probably most likely to go to the World Series just because of the season they've had. So then you got the Astros and the Dodgers. It's very tough. It's very tough because the Dodgers are a very good team. The Astros are a very good team. The Astros have not been as good as they have been in years past, but I think I would probably still go with the Astros. I would put them at 2 because I think that their path to the World Series is going to be easier than the Dodgers' path, because the Dodgers at some point, unless the Braves get knocked out, the Dodgers got to go through the Braves. If the Dodgers make it to championship series and the Braves make it and they play each other. The Astros, I think, with experience, I think they will beat whoever they have to get to the World Series. And I hope I'm wrong, but I would say they probably had. I would order it: Braves, Astros, Dodgers, Orioles, Rays. That's how I would order it. But I talk about experience. The Rays are an experienced team when it comes to the playoffs. The Orioles are inexperienced. But listen, I mean, there's so many teams. I mean, the Phillies last year with a bunch of their guys, with their team. I mean, Rhys Hoskins, he didn't have any playoff experience, and some of these guys were never playing in a World Series. Bryce Harper never played in a World Series. But they made it all the way there. So, I mean, in the 2017 Yankees, I mean, the Royals, I mean, there's a bunch of teams you could look at. They don't have experience, but it doesn't really matter. But, I mean, the guys on the Phillies had playoff experience, but they made it all the way to the World Series. I mean, we're talking about who's most likely going to make it to the World Series, But I like the Orioles better than the Rays. But I could be wrong. I could definitely. This is just my opinion. But definitely, let me know what you guys think. When it comes to that, whether you think the Rays, the top 5 teams, is it the right top 5? Is there a team that's not on the top 5 that should be in the top 5 when it comes to the power rankings? I think they got it right. I don't think I don't think the Twins should be in the top 5. I think the Brewers and the Cubs, they fall slightly out of the top 5 just because, I like the teams ahead of them. I think the Braves, the Dodgers, I mean, that's the class of the NL right now. And then you got the Phillies as well. But I would actually probably take the Phillies over the Cubs and the Braves. Or no, not the Braves. The Cubs and the Brewers. I would probably take the Phillies over them right now. It's just unfortunate what happened with Rhys Hoskins in spring training. Him, I think, tearing his ACL in spring training. Yeah, it really is unfortunate. But you know what? Trey Turner, he's been able to bounce back. He's still got Castellanos. Schwarber, who's having a very strange season where he's batting under 200, but he has like 30-plus home runs, which is what the Yankee fans are trying to get from Joey Gallo. But yeah. Oh, dog's barking. There we go. There it is. Right there. There it is. We were waiting for it. So that happened. Yeah, so Kyle Schwarber's having a weird year. And, but I would probably take the Phillies over the Brewers and the Cubs as of right now. But yeah, so see, exclusive content. You got to hear my dog bark. You didn't hear it on the live stream, which was I guess a good thing. But yeah, so yeah, that's really it with the whole show breakdown. You got some exclusive content. You got some. You went over Immaculate Grid. Got to hear the dog barking. So we got about a couple more minutes. And she's really dying to come in here, but she will once I'm wrapped up with this. But yeah, we pretty much ran through everything for the show today, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. And once again, we'll be back again tomorrow, 11 a.m., 11 to 12 p.m. Live stream, and then of course the Patreon content. Soon after that. So, yeah, make sure to tune in tomorrow. And, of course, be here for when, the Patreon content gets posted, soon after I'm done recording. Because right now this is just a recording. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And, tomorrow, again, will probably be most of the same thing. I'll come up with some other, some things to talk about. Let me know if there's anything that I could touch upon that you guys might want to hear me talk about as well. So tomorrow will be, again, headlines and news and standings updates and scores, and then some other topics as well, because there's definitely things to get to, and we will do that. So yeah, that's pretty much all the time that we have with the Patreon content. So I thank you for watching. Again, make sure to tune in tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment on all the videos. Like I said, I'm going to have yesterday's show up on YouTube, and also hopefully will be posted to Spotify and where you get your podcasts by the end of the day. So you can go back and rewatch that. And then same thing applies with today's show. Today's show will be broken down and posted 15-minute segments for tomorrow. So, yeah, again, if you don't want to hear me talk for an hour and try to skip through and find what you really want to listen to, you will have the ability to do that. Again, we're still working through some things, and we're trying to put together the best shows we can possible for you guys. And also another thing is make sure to go check out the other shows, the college football, the basketball podcast, and also the fantasy football podcast as well. Make sure to do that, and greatly appreciate it. Go help out the other hosts as well. So that is all the time that we got. So once again, I'm Kenneth Gruenfelder signing off. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.